Okay. So, hey everyone, welcome you all to today's Meshery development meeting. Today is 28 February 2024. And in this meeting, we discuss all issues, features, and discussion on the Meshery. Meshery, if you are new to today's meeting, Meshery is a CNCF sandbox project which helps you to manage your cloud native infrastructure. It also helps you to do the multi-cluster thing. So go and check out that. Also, you can manage your cloud native infrastructure in different environments. So today we will be discussing about Meshery and its related projects from different contributors, different community members, and maintainers. We will be listening to them. If you have any agenda item to discuss, please make sure that you add your name and your agenda item in today's topics area. Also, great. So before starting, do make sure that you have added your name in the attendees list. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's start. To start, in our layer 5, we have a tradition that we start with the introduction of the newcomers. Those are new to today's meeting. So I would like to encourage for those people who are new to today's meeting to unmute yourself and start into if you want to introduce yourself. For making things more comfortable, I will start myself. I'm Yash, and I'm interning here since last I'm contributing here since last 12 months, and yeah, this is my introduction. So if you like to go ahead, please unmute yourself. If you face any problem with your mic, you can also introduce yourself in the chat.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm Lee, and I think I might have scared off all the newcomers because we only have old timers on the call right now, which means it'll be a highly productive call, which is great. But also, maybe I should be more patient with people when they ask for support. Maybe that would. Did anyone? I just want to go on official record as being recorded here, but to say like, hey, don't follow my lead in that sense. There was an individual asking for help, and I wasn't as patient as I could have been. Good. All right. Now that ugliness is out of the way, there's nobody new on the call. As a matter of fact, except no, yeah, Shubham is an old timer. Good. Hey, let's get rolling right into the agenda then. I do
Sounds
have a
great.
question. I have a question for Altaf before we start, which is, Altaf, did you get my messages about importing sample apps for the publishing into the catalog? Altaf, are you there? No, you're not there. I will
Yeah,
eject you from the
yeah,
meeting.
I am there.
Yeah, Altaf, what's the answer?
Yeah,
Altaf.
uh, I can't hear. Could you please tell me again?
Yeah. Is this the microphone that I'm using? Is it louder? Okay, yeah. For everyone else other than Altaf, please lower your volume for a moment. Altaf, I sent you a message in Slack. Did you get it? It's about publishing messages or apps to the catalog.
Yes, get the message.
You did get the message?
Yes,
Can you do
but
that today?
I didn't know how to do that.
Okay. Okay, thanks. That answers my
Yeah.
question. All right. Sorry. Thanks, Yash. Back to you.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, so let's start with our agendas. So first agenda we have from Rex. So Rex, would you like to share about the Meshery brand page update? Rex, are you with us?
I am sorry. I always remember I always forget to unmute rather. Sorry.
What's that? Is anyone presenting? Are we gonna Do we need a topic?
Yes. I'm doing that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. No, please. Hey, Rex, please, for the love of God, please stop trying to do the design. No, you can't do it. That's not it. Nope. Nope. Hey, you did a great background. Cool. And you've got the Meshery sort of highly transparent, kind of intermixed. Cool. The concentric circles. Cool. Very pretty. The shadows. Super pretty, as a matter of fact. The rest, though, my man, we've been round on this one. Like you got to stop doing that. Like that SMI is a dead project, by the way. Not that that is fair to you to not know that, but what you've got intermingled here are actual logos and then things that are, just like icons that are random with a teardrop because he pouring one out for his fallen.
the teardrop is actually supposed to be like a color swatch, but yeah, without a description, you know that.
Don't even try to defend. Don't try to defend it. They're just like
All right, okay, that's fine.
It is kind of cool. You got the Meshery in the center. That's a good idea. That's pretty cool. That might be it. Like that might be if you removed everything else. And
What if we had all of other integrations, that's integration logos, Argo, CD, Prometheus, and all the likes instead of these random? Will that work then?
I think, yeah, if you were to make those like 10% opacity and those things fade into the background and there's like a bagillion of them that you can kind of pick out, but not really because like you'll never be able to show all 200 that are there. And that's not the point. And the point is like, yeah, who cares? Like there's a million of them. You can't, and less is more. Or like you've actually got, even if you took off all the logos, including the Meshery one, you'd have it. Like it's still just a beautiful introduction to the page that says you can get branding here. And, it doesn't have to be much more meaningful beyond just not boring. I mean, but yeah, but if you continue to, yeah, and which it is like,
no, maybe, yeah, I think that will work out. So I'll take out the dead projects and fix the rest.
Yeah, I mean that's a low blow on my part about the dead project.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. I'll take it. I have enough growth, I suppose. So there's also this. I think this is the only other addition to the page, the architecture document, and then mascot. Yeah, so that's a lot of it. Not sure if I've sent it into the Meshery page yet, but yeah. So any other person got some low blows to hand out?
One thing you might toss in is there's a community instead of the architecture document's wonderful, but actually if you were to displace that with the Google slide template, I think that's maybe the one that's a great branding asset because it's just an empty set of slides, but they're branded as a reusable template. And so there might have just been a point of confusion over which of the slide decks to point to. Because the architecture deck itself is very explanatory in terms of like how Meshery works, and it's a consumable artifact that you use to learn and understand what Meshery is. But in terms of people coming to get brand assets, there's this blank, well, it's blank but branded Google Slides template. I'll pop over the link and I think hopefully it'll make sense.
I tried getting that with Ritik, and I think how except there's an explicit template, I tried to find out, but I'm not sure we found it. What he did was after he asked me to right click, then there was a add layout option. And so with that, then there'll be the list of different templates. Now, I don't know that is in a different document, but that's the only place I've seen a semblance of what it is you're trying to describe.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, this is probably worth the moment of everyone's time. There's some great resources inside of the community shared drive, and the community shared drive that everyone gets access to when they fill in their community member form is this one. And it's where I know some of you have seen it a lot, and some of you it's been a while or some, but it's worth just a really quick tour. There's we steward a number of different projects. Meshery is the largest one. That's what we're primarily talking about today. And so there's any number of largely like design specs, largely like Google Docs that are found within that project. Well, I say Google Docs and there's a bunch of spreadsheets, but there's a lot of Google Docs that are specs for how it is that Meshery behaves and all that, and great. But there are other resources. If we go back to that root level of the shared drive, this one, these assets haven't been updated for a while. However, there are a lot of them. There's a lot of visual and other assets within here. Sometimes I get maybe one of the later updates was when we made the release, Ritik had put together a few different. Anyway, there's a lot in there, which is great. In this case, and then there's some under community actually. In this case, I think the template that the asset that you're in a search of is probably it could be in one of three places in my mind. It could be under this general like assets folder, could be under Meshery project, but in this particular case, I think it's under community, under templates, I think. Well, there's a layer 5 community slide template. This is like it's kind of what I was alluding to, is just like a branded template, both empty slides so that people can take and use to present on topics. And we're in search of this one for Meshery. And
we just edit that one and have Meshery in there instead of, or does it defeat the purpose?
Well, or if unless I'm mistaken, the one that you might have listed it's a really excellent deck. It's this Meshery architecture deck. And the thing about it is it's jam-packed full of excellent info about the project, but it's not a blank template.
No, I'm not talking about this. I'm saying the layer 5 template that you showed earlier. So I'm saying instead of having layer 5 there, we just edit that and have Meshery there instead, duplicate it sort of, and have that works.
Yeah, yep, that would work. The thing about it is we did have and should have a Meshery one. And if we don't, then yep, what you're saying. Although just before we do that, it's a good opportunity to refresh, because that one's actually kind of a little old. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. And yeah, please press forth and do that. I'm saying it's just touch base with Ritik if you would, just to make sure we've got the latest.
All right, I'll make the needed changes. Thank you. So should I still have a go at the hero image, or should I hands off?
If you just remove all the logos, including the Meshery one, and just less is more. More is getting in more is.
All the logos, including the Meshery one, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's all from my end.
Thank you, Rex, and thank you, Lee, for reviewing. Okay, so let's come to the next topic we have from Shubham. Shubham, would you like to share of the QRM component relationships?
Okay, yes. So am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So I was trying setting up the relationship between Kubernetes component and kubearmor components. So the main thing is that the relationship is established and like it's setting up, but the actual patching which I was trying, like for setting up a relationship between kubearmor and Kubernetes, I need to like patch the annotation part of the pod. and that is not happening in this case because I'm stuck here because like if I'm trying to pass the name of the like this component cube armor policy to the annotation, uh, that is not happening. So I just needed some help. Like Uzair, can you please suggest like if it can be done currently? Like there are two ways currently. Like we can patch with the annotation, or we can use the name of the cube armor policy in the security context of the pod. But I tried both and it's currently not working in my case.
It might be the case that the path is somewhat off, and that is the reason like it is not working, because annotations have a separate location in the design file where we store it. So it might be due to the only path issue and not specifically like relationship definition, like complete definition is wrong or incorrect. But yeah, let's chat after this call.
Okay, sure.
But okay, and so in this cube armor there were like two components, host policy and another one. So were you able to like is there any kind of relationship among the model itself? So I think this is the first definition we will have, which will support like inter-model relationship, right?
Like cube armor host policy and cube armor policy, these are not interrelated to each other, but they are mostly related to Kubernetes components.
Okay, so
the main thing is actually there. The relationship is established, like you can see the policy is working with respect to the pod, but the patching is not happening.
okay.
I think like as Uzair mentioned, like either the path may be a bit off or how like we store I think annotations a bit at a different path than the other parts of the config. So that might be an issue. But yeah, you can share the PR. I will also build it and give it a try to check if it's might be some other bug or any chance.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Shivam. If there is any review for Shivam, please unmute yourself. Okay, so next topic is from me. Okay, we will come back to it later after covering main agenda items. So Akshay and Uzair, would you like to share about this profile button on Play, Meshery or in layer 5.io?
Sure. So in this PR, I added a drop-down menu and profile icon, a profile button where you can go to your cloud playground or log out from the Meshery playground or cloud in general. So that's all we have in this PR. In this one is in the play.meshery.io and this one is in layer 5. The only issue I'm currently facing is the logout API is not functioning as expected. So I already sent word to Uzair about it, and I think if that part is fixed, then we will be able to merge this one. And I
so you are
think
getting into a
Uzair,
loop, right?
yes.
Again, that so you are again redirected to provider uh, or the Meshery.io site or playground.meshery.io dashboard.
Like right now I'm on my like private tab, and if I log in and log out it, and I am stuck with a blank page.
I have to add that this happens to me as well quite often.
Sorry.
Not so much the blank page, but the error messages, even with the new release. I suspect it could be internet network issues, but I'm not sure.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks for pointing.
Yeah, Sandra, just to clarify real fast, do you of the times that you bump into those errors, Sandra, does it look like, is it like the whole page is broken kind of like this, or is it like you're inside, you're trying to look at visualizer and then it's broken from there?
I'm trying to, I click the icon mesh map and then I get either a React error or most recently the React error. Previously, before the most recent update, it was a GraphQL error, but after the recent release, it's just been the React error, like whoopsie, and with the error message, but not this page isn't reflecting. It's specifically related to the mesh map.
Thank you. Sandra, is that happening? Yeah. Please be super loud about that. That's horrible.
It's been happening more often than not. So since September up until, let's say, this morning. So, and I've raised quite a few issues, not every time, because I'm like, wait, maybe it's just my computer, or rather the computer I'm using and the network that I'm on, and then other times where it's like completely obvious, like, okay, this is probably not just the network, that I do raise an issue, or I mean a discussion rather.
We even if it is, even in the cases where it might be low bandwidth, or we should still maybe we should still be more graceful than that in terms of how that's handled. Yeah. Abid, do you mind just a quick exploration with Sandra to make sure that we've got those those cases covered?
Yeah, sure. Check out.
The visualizer one, I think that's well understood, and but the React errors that she might be seeing on Designer, I'm assuming, not. I don't know that we're aware.
Yeah, sure. I'll check them out.
This might be because I might be playing with the cookies, so but in private time I don't think it should show me this error.
Really?
If anybody else can confirm as well, then I think this might be a concerning issue.
Actually, like I tried, but it's logging out properly for me. We'll check it out because this is a big issue otherwise.
Yeah.
But Akshay, I guess to clarify for everyone, maybe, and I think there might be a question in here for everybody as well, is of the desired behavior when there is a user that signs up for the playground and they are authenticated. You're saying they'll see their avatar, they'll see the fact that they're signed in the upper right-hand corner of the website, and then beyond that, what experience would they have?
Okay, so like once they get the access to mesh map, or when they log into cloud, they get their provider token or cookie. Then that cookie we use it to show the profile icon, and from there they can access their cloud or the playground, or they can log out directly from there, and it will be getting log out from both the places, I think.
Oh, okay. So right now it's just they would get their avatar on play.meshery.io. They might, if they click on their avatar, they might get redirected to the provider, to the cloud interface. And if they hover on it, they might see a menu that says log out or something like that.
Yeah, they get a drop-down menu where they get the
Oh,
options like go to cloud, playground, or log out.
Oh, nice. You already did. I missed that. Did anybody have any feedback there? Do those seem like, appropriate?
I was just asking, like, if I will log in for the cloud, it will show me both, like in the drop down, it will show me both cloud and playground, right? So it will
Yes,
show me. Okay.
it will
If
show
I will,
both.
if I will click on the logout, it will log me out from both cloud and playground.
Yes. any more questions? There might be few. I will be enhancing few of the user experience here because this is a simple one, as most of the thing on the play.meshery are like not that we didn't implement a lot of CSS there, and the drop down menu in layer 5 as well on the other options have similar designs for link icons, so I just replicated that one, but I think I can enhance the UI a bit more. And yeah, that would be it.
I just forgot to ask the question, like if I will click on the cloud, it will redirect me to the cloud, or
It will redirect you to the cloud profile of your cloud profile.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess like other question, like when we you are showing early access there, so when a user already has access, do we need to show that access form, like any kind of feedback form, but more meaningful there?
Yes, that I yeah we don't have to show the sign up form then. Yes, right. Okay, I will see how can we manage the empty space that we wanna create. Yeah, thanks for
Okay.
the
Okay, thank you, Akshay, and thank you, Shraddha, and everyone for giving the review. If you have any other suggestion for Akshay or have any question, please do make sure that you are putting down in the chat. Okay, let's go to the next topic from Ritik. So Ritik, would you like to share out your updates on welcome emails and integration card mockup?
Yeah, sure. I'll share my screen.
Thank you.
All right. So currently, when a user sign up to directly to the Meshery cloud, so yeah, so like we just send the emails to the user that so it's some middle emails like verification and other emails, but when the user is completely completes the profile, so we don't send them any welcome email. So I was working on creating one of the email for the layer 5 cloud. So yeah, I have created one. Yeah, I just have the content is done, but I just have to update these gives. So yeah, right now I on click of this go to dashboard, user will be redirected to the cloud dashboard. So yeah, so this is how it looks. Yeah, one
Just
more
to
thing. Yeah.
just for confirmation, like I was thinking, like if new user signs up in the Meshery cloud and they haven't set up all the things, they have made few tasks completed for their sign up process. So do we send an email that says that, hey, you have two of the tasks of completing your profile, and these are the tasks left? Is that necessary or not? Because most of the time, like I get those emails from other products, so it can be a consideration to some suggestion.
Yeah, like we can do something like that to make them the users remember that you haven't set up your complete account completely. All right. Yeah, like one more thing, like in some places we say like this is our layer 5 cloud, right? And the logo that we have a Meshery cloud logo. So like which one should I use? Like should I completely use the Meshery cloud over here, or should I change it to layer 5 cloud?
Actually, yeah, great question. Actually, just before we get into that, I would say, actually, there's already a welcome email. That's if you go back and review the flows for when someone gets a new account, that email comes from the provider itself. Let me show you that and see if that one can be enhanced with what you have here. It's a good description that you've got. Identity provider and global console for Meshery deployment. That makes a lot of sense. This is great. I mean, yep, this is, so what you have here is an enhancement on the other one. The other one is like a sort of a small little,
Small,
yeah, little notification, like click here to, that's about it. So
like we don't tell you like what they all think they can do in our cloud. So this is a
Yeah.
little script.
this is a lot better. Or I mean, from my perspective, from my opinion, from my perspective. And the same thing for what Yash was saying, which is like, and actually like for Husseina, just as one individual and some others, you know, I got to imagine there's any number of people who initially sign in, and this is some feedback that I think Sandra was sort of giving with respect to MeshMap specifically, but as people sign into this provider, they may or may not quite know what they're supposed to do next. And even though there are getting started steps, still maybe the steps aren't very good or very explanatory, or maybe that's not what they were looking to do. And so I think all of that's really good feedback. And Yash was just pointing out that, like, you know, I don't know that he said all of this, but I'll put some words in his mouth, which is sometimes you sign up for a service and you expect an email or two initially. Maybe you look at them, or maybe you don't. And if you don't, or even if you do, potentially a week later, if you haven't really advanced, progressed, or sometimes it's helpful to get a reminder of what the next step was, or maybe you got lost in what that step was, and getting a reminder of what it is might be helpful. And so those sorts of suggestions are really helpful. We're about to bring in, well, hopefully quite a few CNCF ambassadors to dig in, and hopefully what the work that you all have been doing really speaks to them. They'll get to use this as a platform for espousing cloud native best practices and sharing designs, and maybe giving demos in ways in which they've not done before. And so it'd be good if if the onboarding process for them and for anyone was smooth. And so potentially, if, you know, when someone signs in, you know, if they say, oh, I'm here to do this, I'm here to connect, I'm here to do GitOps, or I'm here to publish best practices, potentially those are slightly different paths, and potentially they should get slightly different instructions. And so something to think about. Any thoughts from others right now? We haven't satisfied, or for my part, I know that I haven't satisfied, or I don't think that we have satisfied some of the feedback that Sandra was giving a week ago, I think. And it's very true. And it went something like, the software that has been created here is sophisticated. It'd be really nice if there was a bit more, if it was a bit more evident what you're supposed to do here, instead of sort of kind of discovering by fumbling through it, because it's not necessarily offering you a guided path. It's sort of happenstance. I think quick tips occasionally, maybe a little intro video here or there, but those intro videos, 90 seconds later, you're still wondering what you're really supposed to do. And so, you know, she's not the only one that has that feedback. So many of you, most of you, Shubham, maybe you're a good example, just with how relatively recently you had come into and have started to use and build out more functionality in Meshery and in MeshMap. Is like in Meshery, of these relationships, like the one that you were just demonstrating, how would you explore that and understand it, given MeshMap or given Meshery UI? If you look inside the registry, I think it'll give a full description of the relationship that you've created for KubeArmor. Although you might find some discrepancies, or you might be wondering, okay, well, great, now what do I do with that? Or how do I know if that relationship has been invoked? you know, so I think, you know, it's fair for everyone to ask those questions. Anyway. Anybody else have any ideas or feedback?
I think like we should have very small like bite-sized tutorials kind of to do something like so which would be complete in one functionality of the software from start to end of like maybe how to deploy some component or how to do like some feature that we would have a small tutorial to completely tell the user how to use it completely. And when they would go through a bunch of them, they would understand how everything works, ties up together. Because right now, if we want to convey the whole sets of features, then it gets confusing. Like, are we doing architecture diagrams? Are we deploying? What are we like actually doing? If we just like divide those things and have those small like bite-sized tutorials to like some user might do a particular thing and he will realize like yeah there's a tutorial for this one, I will just check this out and he might be able to build stuff.
That's a great thing. Sandra, does that resonate with you? Yash or Abid's?
Yes, it resonates with me. I just because there's so many tutorials and there's so much documentation already. I want that we have a concrete pathway and a concrete plan as to what the purpose and problem these tutorials are going to solve, so that efforts are not duplicated because they're so close to each other. You know, the types of tutorials that we could make, you know, just like mentioning how to deploy something that already exists, but do you want to specifically introduce a user that this is something possible? Because we have people at the levels of CNCF ambassadors, and we have people who are undergraduates just getting into, you know, service mesh and all of that, who are very seriously interested in how to become professionals in this and learn how Meshery works. And so are we targeting all of them, or are we just targeting one group? So who are we making the tutorials for?
That's such a timely comment. I was just making a similar note with Vivek about the layout for those upcoming tutorials, and the fact that there was a property called category and a property called type, and they both said category tutorial and type tutorial. And actually what Sandra just said is like, well, it could be, I don't know, category tutorial, or what's the type tutorial, category beginner, or category intermediate, category advanced, or level, whatever. But like part of what you're saying, I think, can be helped by assigning a level to the tutorials. Is that in part where you're going? I think you're also saying like, hey, some of these are potentially repetitive of one another, and we could offer some clarity. There could be a list of them. At least that's what I took away.
I think like one thing is like even if a user is maybe like someone who is a seasoned DevOps engineer or someone who is pretty new, one thing that both would face is like both are new to this tool and how this thing works. Like is pretty new in that thing, even if he knows like how cloud native works, but both of those users would somehow face the same kind of like problems. Like we that might be a common set of that we might like divide when we divide the tutorials, maybe like getting started or however we divide, like we might keep it in mind like even if you are an like experienced guy, you might face up the same issue that a beginner will face because both are new to this thing.
What if we did what Lee just mentioned and had each maybe a contributor at each level, the CNCF ambassadors who are contributors and the just entry level who are somewhat familiar, create the tutorials for their target, you know? And so the person who's more experienced will have a certain way of delivering these tutorials, and the one who's just getting into it will have a somewhat fundamental, basic way of delivering this tutorial for their target. person, and then having that, in the catalogs, beginner, intermediate, advanced. But then what topics are we talking about? The same topics or different topics at these different levels?
Okay, so like what Avid said in part, I was also resonating with him. So basically, instead of having labels, what we can do is to, on tutorials page, we can have this get started section where we would list how to create a Kubernetes pod and other basic concepts. And in advanced section or something along these lines, we can have concepts and methods, which more or less someone who is advanced user will require. So in that sense.
Okay, so
Yeah, all
if
right.
there is any other review, Ritik, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay then. So first I'll just show a cloud integration page, how it looks like. So basically these are the integrations of which, like, right currently we only support the GitHub connection. So you can create a GitHub connection with Meshery and you will get the snapshot in your PRs. So yeah, right now, like, this car, it doesn't look much good, like, because there are a lot of white space. This is disorganized. So like, I have created a markup for the card, like how we can use the spaces more efficiently and how we can show the tags here. So yeah, like we right now we are showing the connect button over here, so we can show that at the right topmost corner. And as we, on our BHD cloud side, like, we have everywhere where we have the cards, like user can click over it and we will flip the card. So for the description, we can show the description of these cards at the back side. So when a user will click over it, we will flip the card and show the description. Text can go at front. And yeah.
Like
So
one question for Ritik is like these outline and big numbers, like how do we use them in our design system? Like, because this gets a bit confusing, like is it a button or it's just a, like what is it?
yeah, this is like a button, right now. See, like in our cloud other page, like we have recognizing of these as buttons, like clickable buttons, so that will open our model. So this is how we are
Okay,
training
so
cloud.
this is the only place where we can click and the connect to like as an interactive element. Same here also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not evident. It's not super evident though, to the extent that Abid's
Yeah.
asking. One is we should, Yash, there's a regression issue here. Ideally, we would revert back to the former design that was already here. I'm not, for my part, I'm not convinced that it should say connect on the front, because the behavior is that you may have any number of like GitHub connections, for example, or you may have any number of Meshery servers that you've run and have connected to your cloud account. And so it might be configure, or it might be nothing at all. It might just be that you click anywhere on the card and it opens up the modal so that you can, connect or remove existing ones.
Yeah, I think like we previously mentioned, like we would click anywhere on this card, and in the model we would have like and configure a new connection, and
Yeah. So, Ritik, think more about this if you would. I don't know that we need the labels are maybe helpful on the front of the card. They do, to Abid's point, he invoked the, I don't know if you said design system or the user experience or something, but you invoked that keyword, which is a good one for, like, yeah, what is that white box with the green background? There should probably be a little more interactivity other than just a
But
pointer, yeah. Or that it should respond a little bit more. Maybe it should be button-like in terms of that wave.
ripple effect.
Yeah, the ripple
ripple effect.
something. But,
Okay, right.
I don't know. Yeah, we also, I mean, it's also a little deeper thought needs to be given as to status and category and those terms, what
Right.
they mean, and yeah, I think we've been beating around the bush for way too long. Good. Anyway, there's some feedback. Ritik, would you put something on the calendar to maybe get some people together and
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I also got earlier by cloud, like what emails we will be sending, like tracking over here. So
nice,
this is the list, yeah.
nice. Very good. Anything else, Ritik?
And yeah, that's it from my side.
Before we
Thank you, Ritik.
lose track of this, it probably is quite helpful to all of us to, we should probably write down some of the feedback that we all just gave. I think there were some actionable items in there. I think there was something about tutorial levels. There was something about meeting with some of these early adopters, these influencers, and ensuring that we have requests placed of them if we would like to ask them to create advanced or intermediate or beginner designs, or how to use the Meshery. That we should have that lined up. So I'm repeating all this again, except I don't see any words being typed. Uzair or anybody here would like to type some of this out? I have the most difficult time chewing gum and talking at the same time, much less typing and talking. It's like almost impossible for my brain. Gosh, where were we? Somewhere in here. I guess I'll type it out. You guys can all watch me. That's all right. All right. Just going to make it painful for all of you. There's a proposal for these. Husseina and some others are taking a look at reviewing the value proposition of the playground. Wow, you guys really are just going to watch me. Okay.
Yeah, one thing like that comes to my mind with the tutorials is something like if we have first level is like doing simple stuff like which usually a normal user would do with like when he is creating a deployment or anything, then we might have another level of tutorials where we do the advanced stuff. That means like basically like where we try to show the actual value of our product is like if there is something really hard to configure the normal way like doing manually, but how we can do that using like our tools and how it helps, and like all those escape hatches that we have that we prevent from the user getting into like wherever we safeguard the user and all that kind of stuff, which usually gets wrong if we do it manually. So like all those intricate details, how to manage proper like optimization stuff, that kind of advanced stuff. Because otherwise the users might think like someone views our tutors, he would think like this is a tool, it might be just useful for simple stuff, but I'm an advanced user, like we are a big organization, it won't be useful for us. But when we have like all that also documented, like how we allow you like that kind of like
Yes, yes. So what I understand from you and like what I also have in mind is like having sections in this way, like getting started, which will have basic stuff, stuff that we can do using Meshery, I mean layer 5 cloud or mesh map, and like this, the advanced things will go in sequence. So if someone is advanced user, they just can skip to that portion.
yeah, basically like I was actually checking the like usually like Redux is documentation, like because it's one of the best in terms like how it helps user get quickly going, and then also helps to do advanced stuff. Like so basically like the first step would be like getting familiar with the tools that we have, just like how we do things. Then the other step would be like how you do the things that you need to do, like all those stuff, like because like we are not inventing something, we're just helping make cloud native easier. So that section will be about those things, how we help you do that advanced stuff easily.
That makes sense. I'm not sure. Obviously, I mean, considering the community that we're in, some of you might be familiar with AWS Skill Builder, if I pronounce that correctly. What if we had something like that, where we just had a section within the Meshery docs where we actually, or maybe links to YouTube, doing exactly what Abed just said, and then obviously because this is not like a project for the ordinary person who isn't, interacting with tools that are of this caliber. So we start off that way, and then we go into the more advanced topics. And then the user reading it can decide whether or not to ask for clarification on a topic that's a tutorial topic that's been discussed, and then somebody who's much more advanced can come to the rescue and then explain, instead of just creating a bunch of videos for different types of people at different levels, and then have the community help each other out in just understanding the provided information.
Yeah, Sandra, are you asking for a learning path, more of a structured set of tutorials that are sequential in nature? I wonder.
I'm trying to deviate away from learning paths and just kind of a fun tutorial, like something like similar to what was just mentioned. So it's a fun tutorial, less documentation, because we've already got that. We want to get people excited to get into it, from the get-go, advanced or not, getting to know it or not. So get them hooked. And I think what was just mentioned is a very interesting approach to do so.
Yeah, right. In the meeting minutes, can you guys, I was so busy typing, for my part, I didn't hear it. That sounds wonderful. Can you guys write that down here, maybe in the minutes, so we can try to work towards that? Ovid and Sandra?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Albert. My network is way too slow to even open a page right now. Quite frustrating, but hey.
So thank you. So next up, this the item is about publishing designs in catalog. And so currently, if you were to go on meshery.io/catalog, the cloud native catalog, we have about 80 designs, and we want this number to grow drastically very large, and have some good quality designs. And so that like there are four primary methods by which you can publish designs. So these are cloud native, layer 5 cloud, mesh map, Meshery UI, and Meshery CLI. You can either import your manifest file or Helm charts, or if you want to create them from scratch, you also can drag and drop the components from the thing that the mesh map provides on the canvas, and you can publish your design. So in this regard, I have created two issues, and this is for Meshery CLI and for Meshery UI. And the goal is to have at least 15 designs of different types or technologies. I have put some link of the sample applications that can be imported, and also the guides through using which you can publish designs using Meshery CLI. So this is basically a call for volunteers. I will also share this in meeting chats, and also in Slack channels for potential folks to take these issues up. So yeah, that was it.
A quick question, if I may, regarding the catalog issues. Do we have a systematic way of looking at the designs that are being requested to be published by users to kind of check their quality before they're actually published, or is it done automatically?
So there's mechanism in place, and it goes through the reviewers who do review.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, but you're right. Yeah, Uzair, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so basically the flow is you can either import the design from Meshery Cloud or you can navigate to Meshery UI, and you can import your apps of different types, for example, like Docker Compose, Kubernetes Manifest, or Helm chart. And after it has been uploaded, there is a Vivek, can you browse the playground.meshery.io so that they can get a better idea? So like after you import, you will get a button to like publish, and you need to fill in the infos of like what this design is all about, or what is the description of it, what are the known caveats for this design. And after you have been like you have click on the publish button, there will be an that design will get into an approval queue when one of the maintainers will review the design, will test the functionality of the design, or like whether the design cap like all the required fields are and like filled in, like description is accurate, and these all validations will be performed manually. And after it has been like gone through the manual verification, it will be published and available on the meshery.io/catalog. So right now the process is like manual and only reviewed by the maintainers. So yeah.
Okay. I asked that because the process that you just mentioned is not the process that I went through, and I had a design published, and I raised somewhat of an unconventional query about it. I did not have to fill out any forms. I did not have to sign up for anything. I just kind of deployed the app, and then bloop in my inbox was like, "Congratulations, you have a design published." I was like, "What? What design? Oh, that one. What?"
So
But the
you just
quality,
click on, you just imported the app and you just click deploy and it got published.
I actually made a copy of an already published design, and then I clicked deployed, and then this was probably done in January, somewhat mid or late January, and then 2 days ago or so, I get an email, and I was like, "Congratulations, Sandra, you have your Minecraft app has been published," and I'm like, "But what? Little effort." Okay, I didn't even
Really, like
do much. Okay. I didn't even fill out any form to like describe the app or anything that you just mentioned. It just congratulations. So that's why I raised the query. I was like, it's that easy?
Then I guess there was a like I was 2 days ago I was testing some issue in the design. So I was like, I think I published your design. It was in the request queue. That's why you got the mail. But actually I
Okay.
got kicked out of the meeting, so I don't know if that was we were discussing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the other aspect of your question, there's of what's, while there's a system of approval and Meshery maintainers receive an email notifying them that someone has requested to publish to the catalog and that the maintainers would do a quality check. Outside of that, the only other automated aspect that validates the quality of a design is perhaps the snapshot that occurs. The snapshot is just, for some of the designs, they have images depict, as a thumbnail image that shows what's inside of the design. That quality check is merely what you might refer to as a smoke test, just does the thing stand up? Like, can you open the design? Does it render? It does. We'll take a snapshot of it. But beyond that, there isn't any other automated quality check included or in the system today. That said, like, that wouldn't be terribly difficult to take another step there. So when the design is loaded, you can invoke validation of the design, like a static analysis of the design itself, to just confirm that all required configuration fields, all required properties are present and are of the right type. Like, that sort of a check can be automated as well. So. yeah, anyway, that's part of the answer. And then to what what said Sandra had described, if she had requested to publish, back in September, it might have been that, and if she doesn't recollect being forced to like fill in more of a description about what the purpose of it is, what caveats there are, what technologies are included, that might be just because back then that wasn't being enforced, but it should be now. It shouldn't be the case that you're allowed to forego entering details.
Like regarding the automated stuff, so I was thinking like we have the publish request queue, so like we invoke the snapshot workflow for already published stuff. We might do like a version of it for the ones that are in queue, and we would then send back stuff like how many validation errors it has, how many dry run errors it has, and then when the maintainer looks at it, he has that information already available in that queue when it gets updated. So we might have a workflow for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jose, please go ahead.
I was saying, yeah, it is a great improvement, and we need to do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We are actually on time, so let us know if there is any urgent issue, and thank you for reviewing and giving feedback, Abid. So let us know if there is any urgent item to review. We will review that. Otherwise, we will wrap up today's call. I will wait for 5 seconds if there is any urgent item to discuss. Okay. Okay, good. So thank you everyone for coming today, and it was a nice call, and we discussed a lot of things and a lot of feedback we got today. It was a productive meeting today. So we will see you next week, same time. And before going and ending up the call, I will like also encourage you all those are new to today's meeting to join the tomorrow's newcomers meeting, which is specifically for newcomers. If you have any questions, you can ask over there. Interns, community managers will be over there for you to connect with. And yeah, please go and ask those questions. If there is any item that we missed today that need to be discussed, you can start the conversation in the Slack, and we will make sure that you got your query or your issue fixed. So thank you everyone for coming today. It was a nice call. See you next time. Bye.